Hello guys, welcome back to another video. In this video today we will be ranking all katanas including the DLC katanas. I did not use optimized build for this. I just swapped out some talismans so you know that if the damage numbers look a little off, it's because of this. So at the number 10 spot we actually have the Serpent Bone Blade. I think you were all expecting this. I think poison is not very great in this game and this one causes poison. The damage in this video on the background is very high. That's just because Gideon was standing still and he's one of the weaker bosses. By the way, I tested the weaker katanas against weaker bosses, the rest were all tested against Godfrey. But back to the Serpent Bone Blade. I think the damage is not really there, even though this looks like a lot of damage, it's not a lot. And the reach is also not great. The Ash of War doesn't do a lot of damage, so that's why I think number 10 is deserving. So at number 9 we have the Sword of Night. I don't think you were expecting this, but when I was fighting Godfrey, I'm usually pretty good at this fight, but the damage on this weapon was really not great. I think it's a little overglazed. It looks very cool though, that's why it's not at number 10. I think it does even less damage than the Serpent Bone Blade. It also doesn't have any, noticing status effects procs. As you can see here, the damage on the Ash of War is not very great. That's why it's at number 9. I think it's very deserving of this spot. Still a cool katana, but the other ones are way better. So for the number 8 spot we have the Uchi Katana. A very basic katana, still very good though. The Ash of War on this thing is unsheathed. It's one of my favorite Ashes of War. It does a lot of damage, poise damage, but it's just very basic and I don't really like this weapon because of its basicness. I think katanas are very cool in this game because of how unique they are, and the Ash of Wars are obviously all cool and high damaging. This one does have the high damaging part but not the really cool and stylish one, so that's why I think it's very deserving of the number 8 spot. Still katana though. For the number 7 spot we have the Meteoric Ore Blade. This is because I think the Ash of War is very cool, but I do want to say something because I have a mod installed called Cleaver's Moveset Modpack. I don't remember this sword using it, so I don't know if this Ash of War was changed. I mean, it looks very cool, so I don't know. A lot of people put this low on their list because of the low damage. I do agree the light attacks are very low damaging, one of the most low damaging in the katana class, but the Ash of War, if you actually use it correctly, you will see in the gameplay that it does a lot of damage. I mean, with the Cleaver's Moveset modpack, I don't know if it's in base game, please let me know. So for the number 6 spot we have the Rivers of Blood Katana. This one was very good pre-nerf, maybe one of, if not the best weapon in the game. For PvP it was very good, but now after the nerf it's pretty bad actually. But it still has pretty high damage and the Blood Flame infused, so it's very buffable by a lot of spells and incantations. Also by talismans and even Wondrous Physic Flat. That's why I think it's number 6. It was so heavily nerfed into the ground that this weapon isn't really worth using anymore. For the number 5 spot we have the Hand of Melania. This weapon is pretty good. It has high damaging attacks. The only thing keeping it pretty low on the list is its Ash of War. If you can get it off on enemies like Moongrum for example, that will be very high damaging and staggering. Micro staggers of course, but if you want to use it on bigger bosses who don't get micro staggered, yeah, that's not really happening because of how long this Ash of War is going on for. And the hyper armor also isn't really there, so you will get knocked out of your attacks very easily. For the number 4 spot we have the Ice Lightning Sword or Dragon Scale Blade, whatever you want to call it. This weapon is very high damaging. If you use the Ash War correctly, it will coat the weapon in ice and lightning. But the Ash War is very hard to fully get off because of the moving target. If you use it on enemies like Placidusax who don't really move, this weapon will be higher on the list. But once again, this is based off of the fight with Godfrey, my favorite boss fight. So yeah, that's why I think it's deserving of the number 4 spot. Very good weapon, but the Ash War is not really that good. For the number 3 spot, we have the Starlight Sword. Its Ash War on Line of Stars is really great, looks very cool, and it does magic damage, it's very buffable by a lot of stuff. This weapon overall just does great damage, looks very stylish, and that's all I'm looking for in a weapon. So yeah, that's why it's on the number 3 spot. Going on guys, we have the number 2 spot. For this we have the Nagakiba. This weapon is very great. I mean, it's one of my favorite weapons of all time. The great reach, the cool Ash War. It's the same Ash War as, of course, the Uji Katana. I still think it looks kind of boring, but it does a lot of damage. And because of the great range, jump attacks are also very good. I show you here that I use the Mesmer Fire Grease. At least I wanted to use that, but because I used the Flame Art, it wasn't possible. So this is just off of the Flame Art. It does very good damage, it has very good reach, so that's why it's the number 2 spot. The number 1 spot, in my opinion, the most goated and overpowered katana of all time. Of course, I'm talking about Moonveil. This weapon scales with intelligence and it's very good. Also with dexterity, but we don't really care about that. So, Moonveil. It has a very high damaging, flashy Ash War. It's a variation of the Unsheath. I just said I think it looks kind of boring, but this one looks very cool with the blue ray of Transient Moonlight. The Ash War's name is Transient Moonlight, as I just told you, and it's very high damaging. So yeah, that's why I do think this is deservable of the number 1 spot. Of course, leave your opinion down below. I think a lot of people may not agree with me on this one. But yeah, so thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate if you would leave a like and subscribe. And of course, comment your list if you have the time for that. Bye guys, this was it for now.